Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine,
Why Not? A queer podcast.
episode 124.
Ooh. I did that without even looking at my notes.
Nice.
I'm a professional.
Nice. I looked down to make sure I knew what episode number it was, even though I just spent 30 minutes looking up that episode number.
I definitely get nervous, and I have to go back and look at old files to make sure I get it right. Because when I forget, then I feel like, oh, I forgot last time. Is this really 125? No.
I gotcha. It's 124, but, you know, we know what you mean.
I have a good, because I said 125.
Yeah.
It reminds me of something. I hope I remember next year. Do you ever listen to Adam Sandler, They're All Gonna Laugh at You? That comedy album he did a long time ago? Woo. For you, honey, it's $1.25. So when we do 125 next time, that's coming up again.
Do they still do comedy albums? I feel like nobody does albums anymore.
Because comedians keep winning Emmys. Or no, Grammys, right? Comedians are winning Grammys.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they do have, They do have comic albums.
When are we going to win our Grammy?
Right?
They don't do. I mean, we're recording. It takes equipment. Caitlin, you deserve a Grammy.
Yeah.
And
this is some of the
she
best...
can get an Emmy for her appearance last week. You know, what are the little supporting
I'm just
cast
saying,
member.
This is definitely in the spoken word category. And I mean, if Hillary Clinton
we are speaking
and Barack
words.
Obama can win it, why can't we? Why can't we?
We're definitely speaking words.
So 124.
Has anybody looked up? I'm sorry, but
No,
this
you're
is
fine.
a conversation that probably should happen off of this. But has anybody looked up how to make our videos look like babies yet?
No.
Wouldn't it have been perfect? The STD clip that we played last time would have been perfect for babies.
Listen, and I hope that some of our loyal listeners who work at Watermark are listening. I need you to figure out how you turn clips into babies, because I need to see us as babies.
Definitely.
For those who don't know, it's a kind of a thing on TikTok. It's kind of a trend right now. Go look it up. They take clips of TV shows and podcasts and news reels.
Judge Judy. This is how I learned about it. Judge Judy. They take episodes of Judge Judy and they make it. Am I drinking? They take a Oh, did I just
and they turn them all into babies using our favorite product.
Make eye contact.
AI.
Let me smile. No, I'm good. So yeah,
Raise your hands up equally.
It's hilarious. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, there you go.
And but I know the one I saw recently was the clip from White Chicks where what's his name? Terry Crews was singing that song, and he's like, "Oh, I love this song," and it's like a baby version of him doing it. Hilarious.
There's I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's a guy who does news on TikTok. He's British. He's got like blonde, short hair. He's like a little skinny, twink-looking kid. I say kid, but he's like in his late 20s or early 30s. They turned.
I'll check that out just for research purposes.
Yeah, of course.
Solely.
But somebody turned his newsreels into baby news, and now baby news gets more hits than his actual videos. And
Can
News
you just
Daddy.
do that?
That's what his name is, News Daddy on TikTok. And then somebody started a channel, News Baby, and took all of his clips and turned them into babies.
Can you do that?
I don't know the legalities of it. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if News Daddy is gonna sue News Baby.
And he just did it under a different name.
I don't know. Maybe this is all a ruse by him. Oh, News Daddy.
I feel like just in this realm of talking about pop culture things, there are just things I'd like to discuss with you before we get into all of this stuff. Did you see? We watched the Tonys.
Tony,
and we're going to talk about it. But you watched it with commercials, right? Because it had to have commercials.
Yes, I was watching. See? I am in a extended stay. We'll get into when we talk about the week. Yeah. But I have cable for the next 9 days. So I watched it actually on CBS like it was 1992.
And you can hear between the gunfire
Oh, no.
No, it's not
But
that
they're
kind
all
of.
quiet.
I thought you said they weren't.
It's a little rundown.
They're not
but
listening. They don't get free radio.
they're good people. They're just trying to live their lives.
Oh my God. Make extended stay look great again. Anyway, did you see
Yes.
Lindsay Lohan's commercial? It was hard to tell it was her.
I was playing on my phone and on Twitter during commercial breaks.
Well, good for her,
So
though.
I didn't really watch them, but I did. The only thing I heard about commercials is I guess Darren Criss did a live commercial for tea.
He did.
All right.
You know, I'm going to say, and I don't think, I mean,
Like Lipton tea
we're
or
getting
something.
into all
One of
of
those
this.
tea. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was pure tea. It was pure leaf. Yeah, it was pure
Oh.
leaf. Yeah, it did great. Now,
Caitlin's about to do a live
so the live
commercial
commercial,
right now.
well, she's been giving a live concert for the last 2 weeks. She just started. You don't have to apologize, girl. You do you. Anyway, the hair designer for him, kudos to them, because he has like really shaggy curly hair, and in this commercial that was clearly live, he was hosting the part one, and then he did this commercial, and then he went out and performed, and his hair was like robot coiffed.
Yeah. Do you think that's a wig?
Is it a wig?
I don't know.
You just blew my mind.
I mean, I'm just saying because he definitely has some like, nice full curls, kind of mushy, messy hair. And then it was like straight up.
Oh, that makes me sad. I guess it probably is. I mean, do you know the thing in Broadway shows, everybody's wearing a wig?
Yeah. I will say, and we'll get
Everybody
into this during the Tonys, I was surprised how quick some of those costume changes were, particularly Megan Hilty during the Death Becomes Her performance.
Yeah, you haven't seen that show.
I have. It's on my list. It's one of the first things I'm going to do. Even before I pay my rent, I'm going to go see
That's
Death
because you
Becomes
don't
Her.
have to pay rent.
No, I'm pitching in.
You're like those kids you hate.
No, I'm pitching in. He's helping me until I get on my feet. But I'm pitching in. I'm paying some.
That's not what you said before.
Well, I'm not somebody
Are you just trying to make it sound better on the podcast and you're really not?
No.
I don't know if I believe this.
I don't like to be taken care of. So Chris is helping me out. He's footing the bill a little bit, but I am also contributing. I am a contributing member of this household, damn it.
Well, I mean, the dishes aren't going to wash themselves.
Whether I'm paying rent or not, I do the dishes. Do you think he's ever washed a dish in his life? Don't listen to this.
He
Chris.
doesn't
Turn it
use
off.
dishes. Okay, so 124. That's where we are.
Oh, episode 124.
124.
Yes, I have a couple of some very nifty little tidbits and factoids for you. First one, we'll start off small. I don't know if you're a fan of Toni Morrison.
Toni Morrison?
Yeah, the writer.
Yes.
Her novel Beloved. 124 is the name of the house that's referenced. That's the main setting of the story. They call the house 124.
If you're in middle school or high school, or probably even college today in Florida, you don't know don't know of this because the book's probably been banned.
But find that book and read, or watch the movie with Oprah and Danny Glover. I think late 90s, I think is when it came out.
Oprah.
Yeah.
She's
good
everywhere.
movie. Plain Rock 124.
She's going places.
She is. Plain Rock 124 is a YouTube channel. The videos that this guy uploads of him smashing electronics like smartphones, gaming systems, that kind of thing with a hammer. His most recent video, which came out 3 days ago, was him coming out of a Best Buy where he just bought a brand new Switch 2 and then smashed it in front of everybody in line to get one. It currently has 350,000 views on YouTube. Why he does this, I do not know. But it seems like, he must be getting money from this because he continuously just does stupid shit like this. Huh. But Plain Rock 124, check him out.
He seems delightful.
The other two I thought were very interesting. The STS 124 is the name of the 26th shuttle mission. It's just my first class.
He saw me look over at the bottle.
I saw you looking at my bottles.
Well, slurry
it's the
this morning.
26th shuttle mission of the International Space Station. It launched on May 31st, 2008, returned June 14th, 2008, and it was the Discovery shuttle delivering pressurized module and robotic arms for the Japanese experiment Kibo. The mission also included 3 spacewalks, and the commander of that mission was one Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I thought you were going to say Gail.
No.
Or
she's
Katy
a new
Perry.
astronaut.
Or it sounded like you were going to say it was Darren Criss.
And then this one I thought was really interesting because it has a little tidbit at the end, that little trivia I'm going to have you try to guess. And I know you're not going to get it.
There's a test.
Okay.
Let me take notes.
So Article 124 of the Constitution of India establishes their Supreme Court. Now, India's constitution currently has 470 articles. It's organized into 25 parts, 12 schedules, and 106 amendments. It is the longest written constitution for any sovereign nation at 145,000 words, and it is the second longest active constitution in the world. Do you know the first?
The second longest active constitution in
India's is the second
world.
longest active constitution in the world.
Did you say when that one was done or no? You threw out a bunch of numbers.
No, the rest of the numbers don't matter. It doesn't matter when it was done.
But doesn't
It's
it?
just currently, it's the second longest constitution.
Oh, word-wise.
Word-wise.
I thought you meant longest running.
No. The
like
longest
there's one,
word-wise.
There's one that's...
The longest in length.
Oh, okay. The second sounds like it would be...
India is the second. I'm asking you what the first is.
God, math is hard.
You're never going to get it.
I'm going to guess that it is Sri Lanka.
No. I'm gonna stop you right there. It's not a country.
Is it my daily constitution?
No.
It's pretty long today.
It's a state constitution. The state of Alabama has the longest constitution in the world. It comes in at 369,380 words and was ratified in 2022 was the latest ratification.
And not one word in there is probably slavery. It probably is like enhanced work program or something.
Yeah. It blew my mind when I read that India is second to Alabama. So there, if you're ever on Jeopardy,
aren't we all?
But if you're ever on Jeopardy and they ask you what region has the longest constitution, it is the state of Alabama. And those are my 124.
Well,
tidbits.
those are way more interesting than my 2 facts.
Oh, you know what? As you said that, I realized, and my apologies, I'll do this next week, Caitlin. I did not look at what the 124th Pokemon was. But I will find out because we got to catch them all.
I mean, if we can take a 2-minute pee break for you in an episode, we can take some time to... No, I'm just kidding.
It's Jinx.
Jinx.
Crazy old Jinx.
Zoinks, it's Jinx. Remember we used to watch that cartoon and we talked about it on Spy? We used to talk about it.
That was one of our first episodes.
Yeah.
Was Velma season 1.
Yeah.
Didn't care for it.
I didn't hate it. I liked it.
You liked it.
Yeah.
Jinx, that is totally the Pokemon for Pride Month.
How many Pokemon are there?
Thousands, I'm sure.
Jesus. So I guess for every episode for the rest of time, we're going to talk about this. That
Jinx
reminded
looks like
me.
she's dressed as Barbara Streisand.
Jinx does, but Jinx also looks like, I saw this, I guess somebody did this for Pride Month, is they took a Ken doll and then have you ever seen this where they'll put like molding clay on them?
Yeah, and they changed the
whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, they changed this doll into drag Ken.
Nice.
For June. It was really kind of cool.
Nice. Good for you, Ken.
All right, 124th greatest movie ever made, according to Cinema Archives something.
All right,
now,
give me a hint.
I'm going to give you some hints. It's 2001. I'm going to tell you who it stars, and then I'll tell you who directed it, because I think you're going to get it. 2001 stars Naomi Watts.
Mulholland Drive.
Yes. By David Lynch.
Yes.
The creator of Twin Peaks.
And Blue Velvet.
Yes.
Yes. He's one of those.
What happened in Blue Velvet that made you look at me and say yes, like I was getting molested? Yes.
Have you never seen Blue Velvet?
I saw. Isn't that with Christian Slater?
No.
What's that one?
True Romance is what
True
you're
Romance.
thinking of.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet is Isabella Rossellini, I believe. It's David Fincher is like
David Lynch.
David Lynch is like Stanley Kubrick, where a lot of their movies are very abstract and make no sense to me. Mulholland Drive, I hear consistently, is one of the greatest movies ever made. Not just 124 great, but like top 10 great. And I watch it and I was like, I don't flip and understand it. It's so weird.
I haven't seen it.
Naomi Watts, I love her, so I'll watch anything with her in it, but only once.
I mean, the premise of it sounds interesting.
The premise is interesting, but it's not a narrative story. I'm sorry, there's a gnat flying around me.
I was thinking of something else. What was I thinking of? There was some other
David
movie.
Lynch has possessed this gnat and has attacked me because I don't like his movies.
Oh my God, there was a gnat in my car. You would have thought it was like a nuclear bomb in the car. Just like, roll the window down, get rid of it. I was like, it's a gnat.
It's carry diseases.
I was like, does a gnat bite?
Yeah.
Well, there are biting gnats.
There are biting gnats. And they carry influenza.
Welcome to our scientific
or
podcast
COVID
where we
or
discuss
something. They carry something. Anyway,
they carry a nag is what they carry.
Good. Mulholland Drive.
All right.
Yes.
124th greatest director of all time. 124. I'll give you some hints.
Yeah, give me a movie.
I'll give you 3 movies.
Okay.
I'll give you one at a time. You tell me.
Sure.
1962, The Miracle Worker, with Patty Duke and Anne Bancroft.
Good movie. I don't remember who directed it though. We watched it in school. Not we, like you and I were in class together. But we had to read The Miracle Worker and then watch the movie.
I was held back for 5 years. Yeah, we were. 1967, Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh. This is going to be one of those directors who I absolutely should know and is just escaping me right
1970, Little Big Man with Dustin Hoffman.
I'm going to say, who the fuck directed Bonnie and Clyde?
Do you want to take my pen and you can write it down? My pen.
Mike Pence.
Arthur Penn. Arthur
Penn.
Arthur, you're killing your father, Arthur. Do you know who that's from?
Seinfeld?
Torch Song Trilogy.
Did you know that? We watched it. I don't recall any information past the 1 week we talk about it. All right, 124.
And evidence. I'm just kidding.
So
that's 124.
That
was good.
A good round of some little trivias for y'all.
It's exciting too that we got through that in 16 minutes because I know we had really busy weeks. So, how was your week?
My week was busy. So, last week when we finished recording, I went from here, the studio here in Orlando, and I got checked into my extended stay.
Orlando studio.
Hey, technically, it's our Orlando studio.
Nobody knows how close we're sitting to each other right now.
Until you laugh like that, people were like, "Oh, that's legit." They got a studio. Rock on.
They're so cool. They got a studio. They got all this artwork hanging up of all their cover. They're so
For those who don't know that, behind me, it looks like I have these colorful artistic panels. They are to absorb the sound because I am quite loud.
And you don't know this, but on the other side of that is somebody's office who says those things don't work.
Yeah. So there you go. We'll have to get some more. I'm out of my house. We had to be out at the end of the month, and then we went to One Magical Weekend. So we were staying at the hotel there for a few days. And then I checked out of the One Magical Weekend hotel, came here, worked, we did the podcast, and then I went and get checked in at my extended stay. I'm staying down by the Florida Mall. I won't say the exact one because I don't want people just showing up. I don't want my fans stalking me.
You do.
I'm not allowed visitors after 10. No, I'm
like, where the fuck are you staying?
I'm staying at a boarding house with Mrs. Hannigan.
Aw.
No, so I'm at an extended
hard
stay.
knocks life for you.
I don't know if you've stayed at one of these kind of extended stays before. They're not always the nicest places, but they are cheap. I will say I really appreciate they're cheap. And for what they are, the bed is amazing. When I walked in, the curtains are tattered, the chairs are torn, there's a hole in my closet door. There's a weird odor in the bathroom, but it's because there's no proper ventilation. So when you take a shower, the steam just sits in there. So it's probably mold that I'm smelling. Anyway, as long as I keep the bathroom door closed, it's fine. So, but until the AC kicks on, then a weird odor comes out of the AC, so I can't be right in front of it. Anyway,
but other than that,
the bed is nice, and they just redid the floors, and it's that linoleum made to look like hardwood floors.
Awesome.
But you can tell it was recently put down because when you walk on it, it goes. So so it hasn't properly adhered
Are you sure
yet.
it's not just it's just sticky on top?
No, because I walked on it barefoot for a minute, and then I was like,
Nothing you described about this place would ever make me walk barefoot in there.
I wasn't thinking it. I just kicked my shoes off, and I was like, oh no, we're gonna put socks on.
Oh my God.
But I got cable TV. The refrigerator stays very cold because it's one of those mini fridges, and I have most mini fridges I see don't keep the temperature right. Everything's always just a little warm, but this keeps everything nice and cold. Really nice mini fridge. The tiniest little microwave I've ever seen in my life. The tiniest two little burners. It looks like if you watch a movie from like a Scorsese movie from the 70s or 80s, I look like I'm running from either the police or the mob, and I'm staying in one of these rundown places because this is where people go to hide.
Are you really not moving to New York? You're just on
Could
the
you
run.
imagine if I was running like a meth lab out of there and I was just like, this is my life now, and I just didn't want to tell you all?
Sounds like somebody is or did.
But when I first checked in, I got checked in, and they did all the paperwork, and I was walking towards the elevator because they have a nice little elevator to take my stuff up because I'm on the 3rd floor. I walked by a room where I heard nothing but screaming children, and then immediately the next room was a couple screaming at each other. They were arguing, and I was like, oh my God, I can't live here. But on the 3rd floor, nothing. Super quiet. I never hear anybody. I only see people occasionally coming out of the rooms. There's people don't hang out in the hallways or anywhere. They get there, they get in the room, they close their door, and 3rd floor is quiet. I don't know what the fuck's happening on floor 1, but floor 3 is quiet.
I wish people in my neighborhood had that philosophy.
Yeah.
In St. Pete.
Oh, yeah. It's nice.
Just go inside, close your door, and don't make noise.
So that was, I'm staying over there. Nice thing is I'm right across the street from the Florida Mall. So in the evening, I'll dart over there and I'll go walk around the mall for an hour or so.
In like a tracksuit?
Yeah. I put on my tracksuit, get my loafers on. I do.
You're like Jay the mall walker.
I just power walk. I will say I am, because I hadn't been over the Florida Mall in a hot minute. But I went in there, and I think this is what Caitlin is alluding to over there as she badmouths Florida Mall off mic. I don't think they turn the AC on in there. It's always uncomfortably warm. It's really unpleasant.
I don't know. I've been there recently, and I didn't find it to be
warm. I did not
warm.
care for it. However, because like I said, I hadn't been there in a while, there's like 7 or 8 pop culture stores. It's all candy stores and pop culture stores now. So like 7 stores selling Funko Pops, and then like shitloads of candy, and all the candy shops. There's like 5 candy stores in there, and they all have a sign in the window that says, "We have Dubai chocolate." When did this become a huge thing?
It is so delicious. Have you tried it?
I have had it, yes, and it's good. When did this become like this explosion? Everybody wanted to get Dubai chocolate.
Last time I was in New York, in April. Beginning of April when I was there was a big thing, and like they would sell out of it. Yeah, and there's a place in St. Pete that sells it, and she runs out of it all the time. And she said, "Hey, if you want some, just call ahead, and I'll either put some aside for you or let you know."
Just go to the Florida Mall. Every candy store has a big Dubai chocolate sign in the window.
I'm like,
so
give me that good. You got it. It's a big deal, and it's delicious. I think.
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. It wasn't bad.
I'm gonna need more excitement about Dubai chocolate. Also, like, have you been to the Fashion Square Mall recently? Have you?
Yes.
So how could anybody say a bad word about Florida Mall that's been to the Fashion Square Mall recently?
And I was thinking of this as I was walking around. The crowds at the Florida Mall would blow the minds of Fashion Square. So like that crowd is like an amazing crowd for Fashion Square. For Florida Mall, just because of how it used to be packed. I was surprised how unpacked it was. And this was on Sunday, the last time I went. This was yesterday I went. And there were a lot of people there, but not as many as I thought there would be. Or that
I always find weird about the Florida Mall is that there's an oddly large number of people walking around with suitcases.
I think because the airport's down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a way, but I mean, I guess it must be a pickup spot for some sort of bus.
Oh, there's a hotel there. Maybe they're staying at the hotel.
But they weren't at the hotel.
They checked out, and now they're walking around the mall.
That's weird.
But I will say,
still weird, Caitlin.
When I went to DC, I landed in Baltimore, and I had a little bit of time before. Oh no, where I was going, because Baltimore was my layover, and I had a couple of hours. I think it was when I was in the service or something. And I said, "Hey, take me to the nearest mall." And they took me to the mall, and I was just pulling my suitcase around in the Baltimore Mall. Went and saw a movie with my suitcase. Okay. Went to the food court with my suitcase.
Oh my God.
So maybe that's what they're doing. They're just on a layover, and they're like, "Hey, take me to the nearest mall."
So what you're saying is right now isn't the only time that you've been homeless.
I was in a layover. I had a home. I just wasn't
You
there
call it
yet.
whatever you want.
Anyway, it was a wonderful mall, and I had a wonderful time in Baltimore back in 2003, I think it was. So that was fun. That's been a fun time. I'm there for another week, and then I'm out of there. Gay Days was this weekend, and it was lovely. For those who are local and keep up on the party scene, Gay Days and One Magic Weekend separated. They normally run on the same weekends. They separated because of World Pride this year. So One Magic Weekend was last weekend. Girls in Wonderland and Gay Days were this weekend. So I went and saw some of Gay Days. I saw the Miss Gay Days pageant. It was lovely.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I did. It was super long.
I mean, because when you throw in the word pageant, it's like, I can't sit through a pageant.
Yeah.
I thought I could.
It's long. And when it started, because Twyla Holiday hosted it, and she says, "We're keeping this to 90 minutes. And then 2.5
Per
later,
round.
I was like, she's so fucking lying. We're 2.5 hours in already.
I went to that Miss Comedy Queen pageant, which is hilarious and fantastic, but it was like 2 hours for round one. There's 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Who am I, Elton John? By the way, that's a joke about how Elton John can sit at a piano and play a 3-hour concert without getting up.
Yeah.
It's strange. I don't know how I was like, I yelled at some point, please stop. I need a break.
Please. You're killing us, Elton. So they had 4 contestants. And they all were fine. There was one, Altice Aram, who is a black trans woman who's active duty military, and because of because of puberty,
You said duty.
because of the recent Trump administration's forcing out of trans soldiers, she's currently going through discharging because of that. So she had a really compelling story. She came in third. Which they all were great, but I thought she deserved to win. But Adriana Manchez came in fourth. Altice came in third. Starlet Sky came in second, and Colby Blair Matthews won the whole thing. So congratulations to Colby.
So about this, give one example. Like, has this ever happened? Has anybody given an example of how a trans person in the military has been bad for the military? Is there even one example?
I feel like I'm in the Q&A portion of the
or do they just
of the pageant now. Well, according to the government, concordingly, supposedly there was
most map-loving Americans,
and then I don't know.
and such as the like.
I mean,
my God,
I know
what's that poor
there
girl up
is
to
none.
these days?
I mean, the actual answer is there is none.
There's none. It's just stupid.
The conservative answer is I don't know if they've given some sort of, fake made up bullshit stats to say, hey, 90% of the military says you trans people. Please don't use that as a clip out of context, because then that's going to look terrible.
That's the name of this podcast.
But I'm sure they've come up with some bullshit numbers on Newsmax and Fox News.
I just want to hear them.
Yeah.
But I can't go to those stations to do it. Anyway,
I understand. But it was a fantastic pageant and a great weekend. The pool parties were smaller than usual. They didn't have both pools. Gay Days only had partial use of the hotel. And they had, when you walked in, they had like the main pool, which was what they called the quiet pool this year. And then they had like this covering on the fence that had to sign the Gay Days, and you had to walk through a portal to let all the straight families there know, don't go on that side. That's where the gays are.
That sounds exciting.
But the little But
It
what
sounds
used to
epic.
be the, I see what you did there.
See what I did there?
Yeah. What traditionally was the bear pool was their main pool, and they had a DJ going, and there was a decent crowd out there.
Was
and
it
they
a
were having
mixed
good
crowd or
time.
was it a bear crowd?
It was a mixed crowd. It's the regular pool now, but it was what traditionally used to be the bear pool. But it's
Because
the
last
everything
year, the bear pool was packed and
Yeah.
nothing else was. And so it wasn't mixed. It was just all
now.
bear.
Yeah. No,
in the
it
pool.
wasn't just bears. There was a nice
that's good.
mix of people there. But it was
It was
really good.
bear, so it wasn't just bear soup. It was just it was queer soup.
It was a blend soup.
And that's what we just call like when a bunch of people just stand in a pool and just bathe in the soup.
Bear soup. So, but next year is their 35th anniversary, so they're looking to
that's
do that
exciting.
up big and everything.
It's sad that the main pool. There's this memory is ingrained in me. If somebody says Gay Days host hotel pool, or if I see it, I go immediately to this image. And this is a few years back, not too many. It was before COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was a couple years back. But there was this worker at the hotel who had so much fun when her shift ended. She just went into the pool. She was like fully clothed in her work attire and just jumped in the pool. You know where that waterfall goes over?
Yeah,
everything?
yeah.
She just went in and she took her shirt off and it was tits out kind of pool party. And she's just waving them in the water and just screaming, having a good old time. And I was like, holy shit, girl, don't get fired, but you do you. She unleashed. She was having a good time. Good for her. She was lives in here rent free all the time.
Not any of that going on this year, but it was still
Still a good time.
It was still a good time.
It's it's always going to have a special place in my heart. All of that stuff. So
the only other thing I did this week was the community rainbow run downtown.
How was that?
Orlando. It was a lot of fun.
Did you rainbow run or did you rainbow saunter?
Nope. I kind of walked at a fast pace. I walked like I walk around the mall. But it was a good time. I got a medal. We got some good video. The race, as you know, they do it at starting at City Hall now when you go up Orange to Pulse and then turn around and come back. You can tell. I hope I don't piss anybody off. But you can tell that since one Pulse shut down and the city took over, that they've just kind of let maintaining the memorial go. Everything's faded, nothing's cleaned up.
I feel like that was happening towards the end anyway.
Yeah. There was a lot because when Barbara stepped away and then there was like this transitional period and we didn't know the community didn't know who was paying for security and who was paying for cleanup and all that stuff. So there's a lot of shit going on, but it's very faded and run down, but they're going to be tearing the building down by the end of the year. The next, I think from the 12th to the 14th, they're going to let families who signed up walk through, survivors and families walk through the building one last time before they tear it down, which I get if that's your way of coping and moving on, fantastic. Seems odd to me, but I am not one of those families in that situation, so I don't really have an opinion of it. But
it might be a nice closure thing. I don't think there is moving on from something like that for these parents, but it's nice they're doing that, and it's nice that they're getting rid of the building. It's nice that they're getting this plan. I mean, I think God forbid I say anything controversial on this podcast, but it just should have been this way all along.
Yeah.
And the city tried to do it. And
a lot of people,
and it was going to happen.
There's a lot of negativity right now around the whole Pulse thing and the memorial.
But I feel like it's misdirected.
What's happening now is initially what the city tried to do in the beginning, and Barbara decided she wanted to do it. Her and her people decided they wanted to do it themselves.
And
they were going to do a museum, and they were going to do a sponsor or a survivors walk, and do this whole thing, basically turn it into Pulse Disney World over there. I don't know what they were trying to do, but it's now back with the city.
Do you remember that whole design of that building that kind of went out?
Yeah,
and
it looked like
you're gonna see it from space.
Where Homer Simpson worked.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So, and I know there's a lot of people really upset about it. Because a lot of people gave a lot of money and they're questioning where's that money, but you didn't give that money to the city.
Yeah.
So the question is, where did your money go? It went to One Pulse Foundation. The city is coming in and trying to clean this up. Yeah. That's my understanding of it. Now, please, I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody who's listening will let me know. But that's just my impression.
You're wrong, Richard.
Well, Yeah. And it only took 34 minutes into the podcast for me to be wrong about something.
No, it didn't.
Oh.
Dick. So the Rainbow Run was lovely. Myself, Kathleen, and Michelle were out there, and Danny and Christian were out there, and we all walked and represented Watermark. So it was a good time. It was really nice. I feel like I didn't go back and look at the exact time, but I feel like the run started earlier. The run started at 7:30 this year, and I feel like it's always started like 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere in that
What
realm.
time did you finish?
It took us less than an hour to do it.
So you were finished with the walk before I woke up?
Oh, well, I mean, if you woke up after 8:30, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they had we had VIP, so that inside
nice?
City Hall was nice. They had
Oh,
breakfast, and they had a DJ, and they were giving out mimosas and Bloody Marys.
Too bad
all
they
that
weren't
good
giving
stuff.
out mimosas, huh?
I'd run for that.
There was a Tony winner last night that had a thing for Jason Momoa, wasn't
sure
there?
was. But yeah, so other than that is, just what we're going to talk about. I watched the Tonys, and before that I watched on CNN Good Night and Good Luck. But we'll talk about that
Yes,
after
we're
we
gonna get
find
into all
out
that
what
good
you did
stuff.
for your week.
Well, my week started with seeing Shucked at the Straz
Oh,
Performing
that's,
Arts Center.
your new
and that's
mug
where my
there.
little mug. I wasn't going to get it because, I'm in flux, right? We're just, we're all moving around. It's no one's fault.
Shuffling.
We're just...
Every day we're
It's not
shuffling.
anyone's fault that there's so much change going on in the world right now. But I went to see Shucked, and I wasn't gonna get the mug, but I thought it was super cute. It's all about corn. Which
Corn.
reminds me of this. Okay, so there's this musical, and it's like where they take songs from musicals and then they change the words. I forget what it was called, but this guy was singing a song, and it was from Oklahoma, and it's "All What a Beautiful Morn," and he kept singing "All But Beautiful Corn." And it just made me laugh. And every time I hear the word corn, it's immediately what I think of. And I thought this whole show was going to be like that. So just want to say, I freaking love this show.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about it. I didn't want to know anything about it, and I just went into it. The only thing I knew is that Alex Newell was in it, and they
won a
played
Tony for it.
Yes, and the person that plays that character, Lulu, in the tour is Mickey Abraham, and they are amazing. Just super talented. Everybody really is. It's just a really cute, funny show with a really it's got a fun set, and it's full of so many dad joke punny things. So if that's your thing, you will love this show. I can't wait to take Jen to see it because you won't be here.
I will not
anymore.
be here.
So
and it will, because you went and saw it at Straz, and it's going to be at Dr. Phillips at the end of the month.
It is. It's going to be there. It's in Fort Lauderdale, right? Starting tomorrow, it's in Fort Lauderdale, and then June 24th to the 29th, it's at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. I highly recommend you go. But here are a couple of pun things. I can't wait for Jen to see this because she's going to laugh the whole time. There's this one character. His name is Peanut. Mm-hmm. It's really, there's a thing. I'm trying to get, I don't think I'm going to get this line right because, it's in a theater. You can't write down what everybody's saying. But this guy, it's sort of this
Some people do.
It's a Music Man thing. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's this Music Man kind of theme to it where there's this town that's in need of something, and this swindler comes in from out of town into the town that says, I'm going to help you fix this thing. And he's talking to the swindler's talking to this guy who's really supposed to be fixing everything in the town. And he says something like, we're simple folk, but we're not stupid. And that's a stupid mistake that simple people make. Yeah. And it was really kind of interesting. So anyway, there's Peanut, who is about as simple folk as anybody in this show. And he has a lot of things where somebody will say, what do you think? And then he'll walk to the front of the stage and he'll go, you know what I think? And then he'll do this 2-minute monologue of these stupid things that are hilarious. But at some point in the show, he gets to this place and he says, somebody asks him a question. He goes, I passed a squirrel on my way here. Funny, I don't remember eating a squirrel.
Yeah.
Come on, that's funny. And then Lulu.
Poop jokes aren't funny.
What are you talking about? You had to have a family member tell you to stop talking about poop on this podcast.
That was educational.
That's how we get grants for the show, is we're educational. Remember that thing I said earlier in a meeting? 60% of influencers don't fact check.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Came from
100% of the show is not fact checked. No, so Lulu at one point says, just somebody's flirting with her and they're very sexualized in their flirting, and she says, "I may have lost my virginity, but I still have the box it came in."
Gross.
And I loved that. And then there's this two kids.
Vagina jokes aren't funny.
Then we're back to Peanut talking to his brother, and he's like, "Remember when we used to build sandcastles with Grandma until Grandpa hid the urn?"
Terrible.
Anyway, it is nonstop, like that kind of humor. I really, really like this show, and I can't wait to see it again. So, Shucked. Good times. Then, I moved some stuff to Orlando.
Yeah.
And this is kind of annoying, and I'm going to mention it just because until my house is sold, I'm going to hate this woman that convinced her son not to buy the house.
Oh, yes.
So while they were pretending they wanted to buy the house, there's a gay couple in St. Pete that found a house and made an offer on it. And then when my house came off the market, they went to see it at the open house this last weekend, and they freaking loved it. And they were like, "Oh my God, we put an offer on a house, but if anything happens to that, we want this house." And I'm like, they would have put an offer on our house last week instead of this other house if these people didn't waste my time. But that's okay. You know what? Life on life's term. That's what my sponsor tells me.
Nah. Life goes on.
Oobla dee, oobla da. So then Friday night, I saw Stomp.
You were just hanging out at theaters everywhere, weren't you?
I went to see Stomp at the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center. I must say, we had the best seats I've ever had.
Were they on stage? Were you stomping?
I got there. They gave me trash can lids as shoes, and they said, "Go stand on stage and walk around." It was really cool. No, we were like row B.
Wow.
Which is the 5th row back, and we were center.
Damn.
There was only one problem with the seat. Just one. To the left of Jen was the smelliest person ever to go to the theater. And
like body odor?
Yeah, and the other kind.
Oh.
So first of all, it was body odor.
I told you poop wasn't funny.
And then he just and you know what? I mean, live your life, be yourself. Happy. Let me tell you, this guy loved this freaking show. He loved it so much, he didn't stop laughing the entire time. Surprisingly, Stomp is a very funny show. And so this guy's like having a great time laughing and eating nonstop.
How long is Stomp?
Sadly, we discovered there's no intermission. Because the smell was just so bad that we were not going to make it past intermission. And when we realized we were very sad. So, but it's just because the smell was just so invasive, and food would go in, and the smell would come out. Food would go in, the smell would come out. I kid you not. I mean, I even timed it. It was like every 90 seconds for 90 minutes, one of the most like skin peeling, like warmest, nastiest smelling farts that a person could let out. And it was nonstop. And I was at least a person away. Poor Jen was just like, swimming in it, just like bathing in it. And it's just like, you would see her hand go out like this, and then mine would sit. So I was eating like that little trail mix they have. So my hand smelled like peanuts, but I also sprayed cologne on it, and it hit a big part. It hit my collar here. So I would just do like this, or I smell peanuts and cologne, and every 90 seconds and then boom, I'd be fine until the next 90 seconds. It was crazy. So, but I don't want to I don't want that to be my review of Stomp.
So Jen's evening was a man to her left passing gas every 90 seconds and a man to her left sniffing his fingers every 90 seconds. It's a rough night.
Well, I mean, if I had a bag of Coke on me, I would have I would have sniffed the whole 8-ball and gotten all of the smell gone. Or I would have found somebody who had COVID and made out with them, and just so I would lose my sense of smell. It was just atrocious. Having said that, Stomp is great.
Yeah.
It is a really good show. I mean, we're getting older. Like, Jen and I wanted to see it because we saw it in New York, like, back when it first came out. Like, and we loved it. It was a great time. This time we saw it, and because we had such good seats, we were kind of like, it's so loud. Because we're older. But it is. But it's just really cool. They just take a bunch of different objects, and they make sounds with them. And I love percussion, and it's very much like a marching, or like a drum line kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there's like these little characters that they have, and just really cool. And there's a lot of audience interaction. You would be surprised that when they were getting the audience to clap, I did not. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't get paid. Just not audience participation.
I gotcha.
But really fun, really cool, great show. I recommend that you go and see it. If it's coming anywhere near you, go see it. It's a good show. So then the next day, Gay Day at Disney.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you
Big
guys went to Magic
tradition.
Kingdom.
I love to go there. It's just always really nice. It's I used to go there when I was in high school. Accidentally, I would go to Gay Day at Disney with my brothers without really knowing. So the deal was like, after somebody graduated, then that Saturday after graduation, we would all go to Disney. It just so happened to keep falling on Gay Day, and it was a lot of fun. And then it grew. It became this huge thing where the park would close down, and then you've got seas of people wearing red shirts, and just massive crowds, entire lines to rides were nothing but red shirts and people singing along and really kind of cool stuff. It was not like that. It was more like it was getting back to its roots, and there's a certain appreciation I have for that, and I just really enjoyed it. Instead of just walking around and seeing the mass groups of people and reading all the funny shirts that they make up, this was more like you'd see somebody wearing red and you'd nod and you'd wave at them and you'd say Happy Pride. And that's just kind of what the first few years were like. It's just sort of, and that's the whole point of it. It was just wear red, go to Disney and wear red and show the most family friendly, happiest place on earth that we exist in everyday life. And that's what we did. We went there and we existed. And it's probably the most fun that I've had at the park in a long time.
Nice.
My really
first time at Magic Kingdom for Gay Days was, like yours, it was by complete accident. My brother-in-law and my sister brought their kids into town, and they were like, oh, it's Disney, that's their first trip to Disney World. So we were all going to the Magic Kingdom, and it just so happens that it was going to be that first Saturday in June. This was like 2009, 2010, something like that. So we ended up going, and then my cousins, my Aunt Lori's kids, were like, oh, we want to go. So we all met at my parents' hotel room, and Brittany and Chris walk in, and Christopher, my cousin, is wearing a Jersey Shore shirt. It's a black T-shirt, and it says, fist pumping like a champ. And I said, you may want to change your shirt.
He was real popular that day.
Him and my aunt were like, it's fine, it's Jersey Shore. And I was like, here, in this world, it's Jersey Shore. In there, that shirt means something very different.
That's hilarious.
But he wore it, and he got a lot of
phone
smiles
numbers.
and a lot of people waving and saying hi. And but yeah, I was like, dude, read the room. Or maybe he was reading the room, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna get some drinks. But yeah, so that was my first memory of the Gay Days. That IHOP over right off of I-Drive by the Days Inn, attached to the Days Inn. My uncle used to manage that years ago. So that morning we all went there for breakfast, and it's like just right around the corner is the DoubleTree. So there was a bunch of people in their red shirts having their breakfast before heading to Magic Kingdom. And my sister, because, I'm a gay and they're gay, so we all know each other, had me get up, and we went table to table and took photos with all the gays in IHOP.
Oh my God.
And they fucking loved her. I was so embarrassed, but I did get a few numbers, so that was nice.
My sister's so crazy. I'm so sorry.
Oh
Can
my
you
God,
sit on
she's
your
so
lap?
crazy. You're so cute. Can I have
you
your
lift
number?
up your shirt a little? I'm so sorry.
But yeah, it was a really good time, and everybody, gay and straight, had a blast there.
I love it. It's a tradition of Orlando. I hope it always goes on this way. I mean, even if it's 10 to 15 people or 10 to 15,000 people or 100,000 people, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just wear your red, go there, have a good time.
Now, let me ask you your opinion of this. As somebody who's been going for years, would you prefer it stay the way it is, or would you like to see Disney kind of sanction it as an official Disney event?
Well, it's hard to imagine that ever happening, but they do they have a private event at Disneyland.
Yeah,
and they have the big gay parade.
There's been videos out coming out this past week of the parade, and it's rainbows.
And they got that cow that dances,
Clarabelle,
and everything's like that would be kind of cool. But I will tell you this, it doesn't really matter to me. I would like for Disney to acknowledge the existence and financially show some love and support of LGBTQ activities in Central Florida, since so much of their company is run and worked by members of the LGBTQ plus community, and there's a huge population here in Central Florida that goes and supports Disney. So when they come out with their gay merchandise, it'd be nice if they ran an ad in Watermark. I mean, it would just be nice. Do they have to? Probably not. But they, the expectation is that we're going to write about it. So, throw us some love and do that. I would like to see that sort of back and forth relationship, because they got a lot of cool merchandise and stuff. So they do that, and then their employees, like, much more. It used to be that you would go to Gay Day at Disney and there'd be signs that said "Warning." Gays, an unofficial gay event is happening. Protect your children. They didn't really say that. But we went, like, now it's totally different. Like, the staff will say Happy Pride to you. We went to the character lunch at Crystal Palace, which is our tradition. We always go there. And the hostess was like, "Oh, there's a group of like 9 people wearing red shirts. Do you want to sit near them?" And Jen just laughed, and it was like, "That's cute, but we don't all know each other." So we didn't. But if your sister was there, she would have been like, "Yeah, let's do it.
Get a photo.
Jeremy, come here, get a photo."
I did notice that Winnie the Pooh was there, dressed for the occasion.
You know what's weird? Winnie the Pooh, did you know this, doesn't walk around anymore? Poor Winnie the Pooh is standing in the middle of Crystal Palace and bored off his ass because nobody's going up there while the other ones are bouncing around table to table, and we were having a great time. It was really funny. We were like, I think Tigger was really getting into the spirit of the day. I had to tell him that Dylan is married.
Oh.
But it was really funny. I was like, because Dylan was on his phone and Tigger came up behind him to try to scare him. And I was like, "Tigger's coming, put Grinder away." And then I was like, "Tigger is 1 foot away." And Tigger thought that was really funny. So Tigger had been on Grinder before, I'm sure. But poor Winnie the Pooh. We didn't even get a photo with Winnie the Pooh, but we did get a picture with Piglet. Now, I'm sure you all saw this.
I saw your side by side, yeah.
I took a picture with Piglet, and then like a minute later, Jen's like, "Look at this," and she shows me a picture I had with Piglet from last year, and I was huge compared to what I am now. It's crazy. Have you not seen this on Facebook? You should check it out. Go to my Facebook page. You know my name. And it's crazy. I just, didn't realize just how big I was.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will say this about Gay Days too. If you go to Gay Days, if you go to Gay Day at Disney, you want to go to the Country Bear Jamboree at 1:00. It's been redone.
Yeah, I heard.
So this is the first year. Like last year, it wasn't open, I don't think.
Yeah,
so this year, it was back. And it was packed. That was really cool. It was legit. Like there were maybe 2 people that were not wearing red shirts, but it was packed full of red shirts, and people were clapping. And I don't know if this happens all the time. And maybe I saw it before, I just forgot. But this cracked me up. So when the big bear lady gets lowered down into the thing, so this guy sitting right where it comes down stood up with $1, like he was gonna tip her. I laughed so hard. It was just it's that kind of thing. It's just fun. So go to that, and then at 5:00 in front of the castle, they get a group picture of everybody in their red shirts. Really cool, really fun. Definitely check it out. So I did all that, and then on Sunday we finally finished the shed at the house in Orlando that we've been putting together, and it's been a long process. You can't even see from here to here is a metal cut. Like Dylan didn't get cut once. I have like 8 cuts all over my. Thank God it's not COVID time and we're putting hand sanitizer on, or I'd be screaming all day long. Anyway, to reward ourselves for finishing it, we went to this place. I don't know if you've ever been there. Have you ever heard of Coco Kakagori? It's a shave ice place, and it's over. It's right next to where Dandelion Cafe used to be. Yeah. It is so good. If you like shave ice, go. Have you been there?
I haven't.
Oh my God, you've got to go. No, that's not even real shave ice. This is so light and it's so delicious. And like Jen, who is the pickiest eater, you don't get to like choose what you want. There's like you get like 5 or 6 different things. You can pick those, but you can't say like, oh, I just want this with like watermelon flavor or whatever. No, you've got to go with what they have. And so she's like, I don't think I like any of that. And I was like, get this one. You like coconut and bananas, and it's and she took one bite of that. I was like, oh my God, it's the best thing I've ever eaten. It is so good. It's super expensive. The 3 of us to get shave ice was Dylan paid for it. He's like, I'll get dessert. Jen and I split lunch, and it was like we both paid like $45 a piece for lunch. It was $69 for 3
shaved ices.
Yeah, they are huge. They're really big.
I mean, it's just ice, though. Why are you charging $60 for ice and syrup?
It is not just ice. It is ice and a little bit of heaven. Just the sprinkle
you know what
on the
shaved
top.
ice I like is Jeremiah's with the cream and the shaved ice.
But see, that's more like it's just snow cone ice. That's like shave ice is a different thing. It's really light. It's so good. Anyway, I recommend it. Just saying, you should hit it up before you take off.
I'm not a shave ice person, but I'll.
Well, fine. I was gonna offer to take you and get you one.
$40.
I was gonna offer to take you.
What am I looking at here?
That's the shave ice. That's the place.
Oh, it looks ice like ice cream.
Yeah. It's insanely delicious. In fact, what they ordered, it looked like the lint collected like the dust filter on a vacuum cleaner.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, that doesn't look
You're not selling it to me very good.
When I ate it, I was like, oh my God, it tastes so much better than that.
But how does it compare? What does lint taste like?
Anyway, so yeah, we both had good busy weeks.
Very nice, very nice.
I hope that this next week is not busy at all.
Yeah.
I would like to have one thing to talk about.
I gotcha.
So our plan was to talk about the Tonys for today. So we will do that, but as part of this whole Tony process for us to talk about, CNN decided to air the penultimate performance of Good Night and Good Luck.
Yes, it is the first time that a live Broadway show has been aired live on television.
Yeah.
CNN aired it, live performance. There was one point in there where I think, I don't know if it was an intended pause or if George Clooney forgot his line, but the one where him and Greg Clark, or Greg Clark, whatever, the other journalist. And they're leaned up against
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah. And they're leaned up against the desk. And then he says something, and then George Clooney pauses, and then he laughs and turns his head.
Oh, no. You know what he said?
No.
Because he said something about, all the, it was something about what the country is like. And he said, well, when all the really good people up and leave or go to Europe, or moved to Europe or something like that. It was a joke because George Clooney moved to Italy.
Because I didn't hear what he said. Yeah, he lives in Italy.
Because Trump got elected, he moved to a different country.
Well, I mean, he's lived there for years.
But I think the joke was about
But
people
he turned his head. I didn't hear the joke, but he turned his head and then was silent for a minute and then started laughing. I thought maybe he forgot his line.
No, it was a joke about that. There were only like a couple times, I mean like minimal, 3 times I think where people even stuttered over a word. It was really clean.
Really good.
And really good.
But for those who don't know, Good Night and Good Luck is a play based off a 2005 movie that was directed by George Clooney. He stars in the movie, but he's not Edward R. Murrow.
Which one is he in the movie?
He plays Friendly.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So in the movie, and it's a stacked
that's
cast.
A different. That's a different portrayal in the Broadway show.
Yeah. So David Strathairn plays Edward R. Murrow, nominated for an Oscar. Amazing. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but the movie is amazing. It's got Patricia Clarkson, George Clooney, Robert Downey Jr., Jeff Daniels, Frank Langella, Tate Donovan. Just a stacked cast. And there's scenes of it, like Jeff Daniels, I'm pretty sure when he got hired to do the newsroom, he said, my character from Good Night, Good Luck, Good Night and Good Luck, that's going to be Will McAvoy. Because it's almost exactly the same character.
That Will McAvoy character was something else.
One of my favorite shows ever.
The first 10 minutes of the first episode.
But it's about the McCarthyism and McCarthy, the whole Red Scare and the Lavender Scare thing, and CBS and Edward R. Murrow going after McCarthy and the backlash of that, and how the government was. I know this is unbelievable, but the government was using its resources to attack the media and to go after people who couldn't defend themselves. I know, it sounds like fiction.
I'm so glad that is all in the past.
Sounds like fiction, but it actually happened. So the movie, and this is in a genre of movies that a lot of people I talk to find it very dull and boring, but I am obsessed with. And it's not, because the movie isn't necessarily about McCarthyism. What it is it's about how journalists approach truth and how they approach telling the truth and holding power to account. And All the President's Men is a movie that's that way. Spotlight, it's about the process of being a journalist. And this movie and this play is about the process of being television journalists. And it is a fantastic movie, and it is an amazing play. I enjoyed it. I loved it.
I loved it. I absolutely. It's interesting to me when you can take something that is history that happened and you can make it suspenseful. Mm-hmm. And it somehow was. And kudos to the director, to everyone involved, and to the people involved in making the live production work, because you didn't feel like you missed anything. You weren't far from the action. It's not like they just set a camera up in the back row and said, okay, go do the thing.
No, they had 20 cameras.
They knew what they were doing, and they were so good at it. And it's definitely going to win an Emmy of some kind. It was just really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I watched. Did you watch the talk back afterwards?
I did. Yeah.
It's interesting because there's that one guy who was kind of like who was different. He was saying something different than what everybody else was saying, and there was a lot of talk about what is the responsibility of journalism in reporting the news. And it was interesting because because a lot of people are saying, like you just said, it's about, where we need to report the truth. And this guy's saying the truth is subjective, that facts are not subjective, but the truth that you come to based on those facts is. And I found that very fascinating, and it's like, I could think of examples. I can't think of one that wouldn't get me in trouble, but I could say, like, I personally have beliefs, and I believe to be true, that all men are created equal, it's hard to give an example, but if you talk about gay marriage, I would say the truth is that gay marriage is just as valid in the eyes of God as any marriage. That's my truth. But that's not everybody's truth. And so we can't.
Do you believe in God? Have you ever seen the movie Contact?
One question at a time. Are we moving on to Contact? Yes, I have seen the movie Contact.
The scene where Jodie Foster is trying to plead her case to be the one who goes through that machine, and she's talking about, the belief structures and all that, and Matthew McConaughey goes, "Do you believe in God?" That's how that felt right there. You were just like, "How dare you, sir? How dare you?"
God believes in me, and that's all that matters. Yeah,
that's your truth.
That's not true. No, it's interesting that, like, it's just an interesting concept, and I would love to like just debate this and have a long conversation between facts and truth.
Yeah,
and like most people were saying that journalists need to say, this is happening, and this guy, it's like, no, that's what got you into trouble. You're telling people what to think. You're telling people that you have to be okay with this. And when you could say, the facts are that two men being married, two women being married, whatever queer marriage thing you're speaking of, like, the facts are, it's not harmful into society. Now, and then you can build your own truth on that. It's an interesting thing, and there's so many gray lines in it, and it's like, but between, reporting facts or like giving, and then they say, oh, you got to give equal time to both sides.
Yeah.
And even
That line is in the
it's in the show.
and it's in the movie. And there's a scene in the news. I swear to God, Aaron Sorkin watched Good Night and Good Luck and was like, I'm going to write the newsroom. Because there's a scene between Mac and Will McAvoy, and where they talk about that. And there aren't always two sides to to a story.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I do.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to. I mean, I just think that there's certain when it comes to human rights. I just don't think that there's equal time to both sides. But what worked for Edward R. Murrow back then is that the difference between a fact and a lie mattered.
Yeah.
In that time, and it doesn't seem to matter now.
Yeah.
Unless we're just glorifying the past, because there's that one lady that she was just like, no, it hasn't. It's always been a problem. People have always hated journalism, and we've always had this problem.
They haven't hated to the extent they hate them now.
Yeah.
And it's because the pool is so it's so diluted and murky. Like anyone can be a journalist now. All you need is a phone and an internet connection, and you can. There are people out there who will give the same validity to a New York Times reporter as they will some schmuck with a podcast.
Well, and so I was going to disagree with you in that sense and say, like, no, not anybody can be a journalist because a journalist is a profession. But and there are rules to being a journalist. But I think anyone can be a commentator. Like, we're not experts in film. We just have opinions, but we're very clear about that. We're very clear about what our intentions with this are.
I think that what we consider a journalist isn't what everyone considers a journalist. I mean, hell, there's a freaking chair at the White House in the press corps that is for alternate media, and they are listed as a journalist on the call sheet. So it is a very murky pool now, where what we consider to be journalism and what we consider to be the news.
Yeah, and it's difficult, I think, for people to discern because, like we said, it's a fact that Anderson Cooper said that 60% of influencers don't fact check. Mm-hmm. So they're giving news reports but most people get their news from influencers now and from TikTok and that sort of thing, but they're getting it from people that don't fact check. It's just what an interesting dilemma for journalists to figure out. Yeah.
I try not to come off as sounding smug when I say this, but it's annoying and I think Ryan feels this way because, he went to school for it too. When you go through schooling and you learn the technique and you learn the trade, and then some idiot, because he's got a fucking cell phone, is like, oh, I'm going to report the news. And then he's sitting in the press corps at the White House. It's insulting to the profession. And it's insulting when people, because I don't fucking walk into a hospital, cut someone's stomach open, and be like, I'm a doctor because I watch ER. You don't have a fucking clue about what being a journalist is. And now there's that idiot with the fucking beanie on who's like, did you see that clip where he got the first question after the chair was introduced? And he's like, how do you and the White House deal with all these hateful journalists out here, twisting the facts and the good things that the White House is doing? I was like, fuck you. Yeah, you motherfucker.
I saw that on John Oliver. That's all. But see, there's no reality in that whole situation. It's just such a farce that I can't even give it credit. Like that whole
you don't need to give it credit.
The White House briefing.
White House is giving it credit.
I just don't. Yeah, to me, it's like it's just all a farce. And it's like how the first term they didn't do the press conferences, and now they're like, oh, you want them every day? We're gonna do them, but this is how we're gonna do them, and it's what a waste of time in a
shit
joke.
show.
But it is. I get how it's aggravating. I'm not a journalist at all. But I believe in what journalism stands for, which is why it's so important to me when we write stories that our opinion isn't in there. Now, you go to page 7 of Watermark and you'll get nothing but opinion. You go to Viewpoints, you will get nothing but opinion. But our news stories and our in-depth stories are void of the opinion of the writer and of the newspaper, because that's what you do. That's journalism. Now, if you want to get somebody else that's going to say it, then somebody else would quote it, but we're not in the business of saying like this is what you should think. This is what this is what our truth is, and you have to believe this. That's not what we do.
No, that's not what any journalist does. And that's why I have huge issues, and I don't watch as much as I used to with CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, the major ones, because 90% of their hours they have to fill up are a bunch of talking heads about what's your opinion on this. I don't give a fuck what your opinion on this. And I love Anderson Cooper, but he's one of them. His show is he'll do some headlines and then he'll bring 6 people on to yell at each other. And he gives equal time to the idiot who's talking about how Trump is one of the greatest things that ever happened to America to the other actual journalists. And it just makes me sick. So I don't watch CNN other than their live stream of
I
Good Night, Good
recommend
Luck.
you gotta go watch it, y'all. Just go watch it. It's interesting because whatever your opinion on the press is, that's actually kind of what it's like. You know, like the people there are really interested in facts and telling the story and
I like
and
the
holding
whole
people
talk back
accountable.
where the audience was all journalism students and journalism professors, people who are going into this. But at the end, gave me chills while I was watching it. At the end of Good Night and Good Luck, when George Clooney's giving his final speech, and they're showing the history of what television has become, and it goes from these moments of like, you know, the landing on the moon and the JFK assassination, these monumental times in history, to what our history looks like now when it's January 6th and Elon Musk throwing the fucking Nazi salute up. And it just fucking sickened me.
Yeah.
What this country has become. It sickens me.
So well done. It's so well done.
So good.
All right.
I'm sure it's being streamed on Max still. I'm sure you can go and look at it, watch it. It's fantastic. But that leads us into...
Yeah, to the Tonys.
Tonys.
How about that for a transition?
So
That's probably the most serious discussion we've ever had on this show.
The 78th Tony Awards were on Sunday.
Now, I mean, maybe I should do better research and I would have known this, but I mean, this show was 5 hours long. It was 2 hours.
It was 3 hours.
No,
but
it was 2 hours and then it was 3 hours. So there were 2 parts. There was an act 1 on Tubi.
Yes, they did preliminaries, like they did like the technical awards beforehand.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
that.
they also, I mean, I gotta say, well, I'm gonna go through them all because I did, and I think.
Well, I mean, I have the winners.
I think that I think that, like, you don't put your lifetime achievement award in something on on Tubi. Like, why wouldn't that be on? Anyway, so I don't know if this was the first award or not. I didn't find out about this until after 6:30, and I was like, oh, and I put it on, and so I did catch. I think I caught most of them. But we'll just go through. I'll go through them in the order that they happen here,
sure.
And we'll just kind of talk about. We'll talk about all the awards in the order that they happen. So I don't remember her name. So it was Darren Criss and the lady who was in Hamilton. They were the host.
Ariana DeBose?
No, Hamilton. She wasn't in Hamilton.
Yeah, she was.
Ariana DeBose was in Hamilton?
Yeah.
Who did she play?
She was the bullet.
Oh.
I'm not even kidding. She was the ensemble, and she's the one who carries the bullet.
Oh, really?
Yes. In fact, one of my notes is, during the Hamilton 10-year anniversary, there is one Oscar Oscar winner on that stage, and it's not Lin-Manuel.
Huh.
It's the bullet.
How about that?
She was in the room when it happened.
She wasn't on the stage last night.
Yes, she was.
She was?
Yeah.
Did she play the bullet?
Yeah. Well, the bullet wasn't there, but she
There were
was
so
dancing.
many people on that stage.
She had that. She was the one with the long hair that kept swaying.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good to see her getting back to our roots. So the first award that I saw was best sound design of a musical.
Sound design of a musical.
I'm just gonna go to the winner. I have all the nominees here,
Yeah,
but
I got
the winner
right here in
was
front of me.
Jonathan Deans from Buena Vista Social Club.
Yes.
And I guess technically speaking, you're going to hear those words together a lot. Buena Vista Social Club. Buena Vista Social Club is it's a sort of a groundbreaking show. It's about a girl finding her voice in this Cuban club. And all of the music is sung in Spanish,
yes,
which is what makes it groundbreaking. But apparently, technically speaking, the Tonys loved this show. So best sound design of a musical went to Jonathan Deans for Buena Vista Social Club.
Yep.
Best orchestration went to Marco
Paglia
with Buena Vista Social Club as well.
I don't know if you noticed, but for best sound design in a musical, Peter Helsinki got nominated twice for Just in Time and maybe Happy Ending, and lost both. He canceled himself out.
I got to tell you, Just in Time was amazing.
Can you imagine doing the sound design for 2 shows in the same season? That man must love his work.
Yeah, you wonder if like I don't know what gets a show to Broadway, right? That's the question.
Carnegie Hall
is what gets it to
so
Broadway.
that's
Apparently
apparently
it's Chicago. But because there was a whole thing about Chicago and some show that like had its rise in Chicago and that got it to where it was going. But I feel like a lot of that work happens before it gets to Broadway.
Yeah.
So these could have been different years that he did all this. It just so happens that they both got to Broadway in the same year. So best sound design, best orchestration, and then best choreography went to Patricia Delgado and Justin Peck.
Was it for the Buena Vista Social Club?
It was for the Buena Vista
I
Social
knew
Club,
it!
which when looking at all of the things, like those are well deserved. It did make me think for a half a second that Buena Vista Social Club was about to win everything because every award, the first 3 awards that I watched, went to that.
It's funny because Buena Vista Social Club won 4 awards total, and Stranger Things won 3 total. And they were almost exclusively on the tech side.
Yeah, which brings to the next one. Best lighting for a play went to John Clark for Stranger Things. Now, when the clips that they showed, and if you didn't watch the first act of the things, you didn't see this.
I've seen the clips of the show. The show looks amazing.
Looks crazy good.
CBS Sunday Morning did a 20-minute behind the scenes of Stranger Things and went through the whole process of making the show, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about all the queer stuff that's going on so far. Let's just suffice to say that a lot of this is queer. A lot of people who won and things are. So then we get to lighting design for a musical, and that went to Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
I mean, I guess. Listen. Is this the time for my Sunset Boulevard speech? I don't want to give away anything else.
I know that you're going to complain a lot about this show, so get it out of the way.
I'm just going to say this. Art is subjective, and that's fine. I think I said this about Sunset Boulevard when I saw it before, is that if this show was called anything else, the
MAGA, can you hear me?
The non comeback queen or something like just if it was something else other than called Sunset Boulevard, then I would have loved it. I will say that everybody involved in it is talented. It's an interesting take on something. It's just so stripped down to me. That it was just not. That was not Norma Desmond. That was not Sunset Boulevard. It was something else. Entertaining, but over the top and extremely campy.
What I know of the show, how it's kind of more, just not traditionally the way musicals are done. And then I don't want to buy into stereotypes and how it looks, but I saw the director and the creator of Sunset Boulevard, and I was like, yeah, that looks like the type of show you'd make. I mean, he was shaved head, tattooed. He looked like Bam Bam Bigelow. Totally had the vibe of someone who's like, I'm going to make Sunset Boulevard for the new millennium.
I don't know. You would think there's got to be a reason. Why is it so stripped down? Because you wanted to focus on the characters? You wanted to focus on the struggles of the characters? Then why did you let the characters become so extremely campy? They were caricatures of people. Why not go for stripped down realism, pull at your heartstrings and make it? And maybe they think they did that, and maybe audiences did, and maybe the theater wing does, and maybe I'm the only one who doesn't. I know one other person who thinks the way that I think, and because I saw him at a conference in Philadelphia. And he said, what do you think of Sunset Boulevard? And I told him, and he was like, I'm the same way. But everybody else seems to love it. So
I know someone who thinks completely opposite of you.
Yeah. But I think
Kirk Hartledge.
Yeah. I mean, and I think sometimes, and I could be wrong, and I was wrong earlier today, 34 minutes into this show. But sometimes somebody in a show will make you like the show more than you should.
Yeah.
I
understand.
You know what I mean? It's what I think most people like about it is that it's her. and that they like the Pussycat Dolls, and
Now,
it
I will
doesn't matter.
say I've seen other than except for Good Night, Good Luck on CNN. I have seen none of these shows. Now she killed it when she sang on the Tonys that song from Sunset Boulevard. I was like, well, I can see why people are enamored with her performance. That is a really good song.
Her voice is spot on.
Yeah.
Her
But again, that's
acting was
all
not.
I've seen of it was that one song.
I think she's over the top and campy in that moment. In fact, I think so. It's really, you just bring it up to compare like the two people who were up for the award for best. I don't want to. We're not there yet, but when Audra McDonald performed, I just like that she pulled that song pulled that out of thin air. Like usually she's got a whole show to build up to that, and then she pulled out of thin air. And I think like the last second of her performance of that song, she basically had a look that said, I know where this is going, but I'm going to leave that right there. Just so you all know, that's my Tony right there, and walked off the stage. And I thought she was brilliant, and I loved it.
I thought she did great, and we've talked about this before. I am one of those people who do not like Gypsy, and I don't like that song. Every performance I've seen of that song, it gets into just too shouty and too over the top and campy. And I thought that even she went a little too campy with it. And I'm not a fan of it. Now, that being said, she fucking killed it on that stage. She did great. Now, as someone who hasn't seen any of these shows, I don't think either one of them should have won. I definitely think one of the Death Becomes Her girls should have won, because I love those two so much.
Well, I mean, there's no getting around Megan Hilty is a force.
She is divine.
She is
I
a
love
force.
her.
So anyway, so it wins for lighting.
Yes.
Okay. I guess because
I hope it didn't win for sets.
no, there's no set.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no set,
Was
no
it even
costumes.
nominated? I'm gonna look at
no,
that.
there's no set. There's no costumes. So really, lighting tells the story, but it's all black and white. So I just didn't feel like it was. I didn't feel like it was that great. Like
It did get nominated for scenic design.
I saw for best lighting design. Oh, this isn't even. Yeah, I saw Floyd Collins and the silhouette portraits that lighting created in that were beautiful.
Well, his performance, the lighting alone, because it's the lantern.
That's
was
what
fabulous.
I'm telling you. Like it was
fantastic.
great, and that they had to create this huge cavern, and they had to create a small space that he was stuck in. But then they created this beautiful town silhouettes of all the people. That was incredible.
Yeah.
So because all your thing was as a spotlight. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Sorry. If you like this show, you win.
I will say, as somebody
Congratulations.
who, about, when was it, 10, 15 years ago, when Smash was on NBC, that was the first time I ever saw Megan Hilty or Jeremy Jordan. Seeing them both perform in the season when Smash was on Broadway, full circle moment for me.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Both of them are amazing.
Scenic for a play went to Miriam Beather.
Or did he? Oh, no. Yeah. That's sound. I'm looking at the wrong one.
For Stranger Things, which I kind of really want to see now. I mean, I wanted to see it anyway, but I'm the only one in my or Jen watches Stranger Things. But when you're in New York, there's like so many other things people want to see. So then scenic design for a musical went to maybe Happy Ending, and you got a taste of it, right?
Yeah.
Watching it, cool,
It's
very cool.
Not bad. Not bad.
It's really cool. Now. I mean, I think Death Becomes Her may have deserved that a little bit more.
I went in very biased, but the fact that Death Becomes Her went in with 10 nominations and left with 1 doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
Does not sit right with me.
So then we got costumes for a play, went to the picture of Dorian Gray. That looked well deserved.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
And now, you watch Succession, all 3 of the main kids have a Tony, and 2 of them have an Emmy, 1 of them has an Oscar. No, 3 of them have Emmys, and 1 has an Oscar. That means all 3 of them are at least halfway to a
Now all I have to do is make a
EGOT.
comedy album.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait, he didn't get the Emmy. So Kieran Culkin has the Oscar.
Did you hear that?
And the Emmy, and the other two have a Tony and an Emmy.
Did you hear that The Bear is nominated for a Grammy for favorite comedic album?
I would vote for that. I put The Bear on in the background, and I laugh my ass off.
None of that is true.
No. Get to costume design for a musical because I have something to say about this. Okay, I'll get to it. Best costume design for a musical, Death Becomes Her, Paul Tazwell, who a few months ago won an Oscar for Wicked. And he won an Emmy for doing Wiz live. So now he just has to find a way to get a Grammy tied around a Broadway show, and he'll be an EGOT.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. He's a gay guy, by the way, so that's why I felt the need to point him out. He's also Death Becomes Her's only Tony win.
Yeah. Well deserved, too. Well deserved. So
the
then we go
costumes
to...
alone in that the one performance I saw on the Tonys, fantastic.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So then we get to score. Best score, which is obviously only in a musical because that's the only one that have the music. And that went to Maybe Happy Ending, which I don't think that the song that they performed really kind of showcased that, but it was really good. Their speech after they won does really talk about how they took these different styles and tried to mix them into something that was cool. Yeah. And when you saw it, it was really cool.
There were several performances that I saw of shows that I know in the weeks leading up to the Tonys, people were like really excited and said, "Oh, this is a great show." And I was like, "Is that you're supposed to showcase the best of your show?" And Dead Outlaws or Mincemeat, which was fine. I was like, that's the best to showcase your show. It did not make me want to see them.
Even Just in Time, which is a phenomenal show. Like it didn't need to just be him. There were other people that sang in it, and they
did appreciate the Keanu Reeves moment.
Oh. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I love Jonathan Groff.
Yeah.
Like everything that he did, even when he walked down, every time he was on stage, I smiled. So anyway, that ends Act 1, and now we're into the stuff that's fit for the human consumption.
Did they do best book of a musical on the show or on the pre-show?
Oh, I don't know
because I don't remember seeing it. But
maybe it was the first award, and I missed it.
Maybe Happy Ending won that.
Oh, okay. Those would be the words, the dialogue,
the words
of a musical.
The words.
So then we're into the thing.
The actual show.
Cynthia Erivo is hosting. It's this whole thing where the opening number is the opening of it is everyone's telling her what she should do. And then she runs into Oprah, and Oprah says, just go out there and be you. And so she goes out there and sings a song.
Held space with her and grabbed her finger.
I did write the finger.
There were a few Wicked references. The guy in the background was like holding the broom and the hat.
Yeah.
He's like, you need these.
And she says, I think that's Dana Radcliffe's, and walked away. That was funny. I got to tell you, she is a mega talent.
She is.
And she killed it. That song was great.
I love a good parody song.
Yeah. It was, I mean, I don't know if this makes me sound like the old guy. For a second there, I'm just like, but it was hard to follow. It was fast. Yeah. And I think it was hard to register all the things that were being said.
Now, one thing I will say that I put on here, it was a little too church music for me. And when particularly when I'm watching something that is like one of the gayest award shows out there, I don't like to be reminded of the institution that condemns me to hell. It was a little too church when all the singers came up and they were doing the church singing.
Do you believe in God?
I do. I do believe in God. I don't believe in the hateful religious construct out there.
I gotta tell you though, I love. Surprisingly, I love church music. I love it. And so I kind of dug it. And she's just a powerhouse. And she's funny.
Now, while we're talking, I will say in my notes, because on the commercial breaks I was scrolling through, and at points I did write down some tweets that made me chuckle. And so when we get to those points, I will read those tweets to you.
Okay.
We're not there yet. I just wanted to let you know.
I wrote this down because as she walked by and Gail was there, I said, apparently astronauts have invaded the Tonys.
I did know in her when her little monologue, she did mention that this was Broadway's most lucrative year ever.
Well, there's a reason for that. The tickets to see Good Night and Good Luck were like $400.
That brings up my first tweet. Someone said, Hey, Cynthia, that's because the prices are high as fuck. Hashtag Tonys.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. I mean, that's...
Yeah,
But
when you're
also-
charging $400 a ticket, of course you're
Yeah.
gonna have record years.
Now, they did have... I mean, I'm sure that the big names brought in a lot of...
Yeah.
I would like to say that I have spent more money on Broadway tickets this year than I ever have.
They mentioned
So-
you on the Tonys.
Yeah.
They said, thank you, Rick Todd, for contributing to half of Broadway's
Yeah,
profits.
and then they said, now go pay your credit card bill. All right, so...
they gave out the first award. It
Yes.
was given out by Bill and Ted.
who apparently
Loved
are
it.
going to have a Broadway show. They're doing Waiting for... I always say Waiting for Godot, but they said Waiting for Godot.
I don't.
It's a
I don't know
show.
I know what it is. I
Yeah.
don't know how it's pronounced, but I was hoping they were going to announce they were going to be the two leads in the new Book of Mormon.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It was very sad that,
I don't know that they
so
sing.
Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are going to be on Broadway doing the show a few years ago that Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen did.
Yes, which was also a revival.
Yeah.
From I mean, it's an old show.
Yeah, which I hear Moses and Jesus did. Do you believe in Moses? I know Caitlin doesn't.
My favorite Moses clip is from the History of the World when he's like, I have here 15, 10 commandments because he broke the tablet. It's funny. Okay, so that was the actress in a play went to...
Best actress in play went to Sarah
Sarah
Snook
Snook.
for The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Yes.
Where they call it a one-person show, but she says there's so many people involved, it's not one person. But she plays, it's like 18 characters. She plays
Yeah, she
18
plays
characters. That's crazy. Then Michelle Williams came out, not the Dawson's Creek one, but the Destiny's Child one, and presented Death Becomes Her. Megan Hilty and the cast came out and sang For the Gaze.
I do it for the gays.
Gaze.
Yeah.
But when sang, sounds like she's doing it for us.
And what a great number too.
Love it.
But that is one of the rare moments of these performances that really highlighted how funny the show is, or how campy and fun it is. So like this happened all the time. She runs off stage, and then one of the dancers dressed in what she was wearing
comes out as
and
the
pretends
stunt
to be
performer.
her, and is hilarious.
Loved it.
And so it was great. And then when she throws that thing off the end, and she's Dorothy, and I do it for the gays.
I love it
great.
because their backup dancers were all the colors of the rainbow flag, and then she's wearing the trans colors with the black and the brown stripe. So I know Ryan was happy because the whole progressive flag was up there dancing. And it was a perfect first performance for Pride Month.
Absolutely.
I felt like I was at World Pride. It was magnificent.
And she is so delightful.
Somebody
so
posted
good.
up here. Did you watch Smash?
No.
Okay, so Smash.
I didn't like her in Smash because I hated the person she played.
Oh, I loved her in Smash. So Smash is her and Catherine McPhee vying for.
I also love Catherine McPhee. So.
Who gets to play Marilyn Monroe on Broadway? And somebody tweeted, "Every time I see Megan Hilty, I'm reminded how Smash tried to convince us that Catherine McPhee would make a better Marilyn Monroe than Megan Hilty." And I said, oh, and it had a little eye-rolling gif with it. And I said, me too, girl. Me too. Because if you watch that show, there's no way that Catherine McPhee would beat out Megan Hilty to play Marilyn Monroe.
Well, I stopped saying there's no way when I watched the Tonys.
I mean,
and I do not live in a world
short of her
where
being
Audra
married
McDonald
to
doesn't
someone,
have the best performance.
Short of her being married to someone 40 years her senior, they don't really have much in common. Anyway, I loved Smash, and I love Megan Hilty in Smash, and I love Jeremy Jordan in Smash. I wish they didn't cancel that show. I love it. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut of Smash.
I don't have a lot of notes about what people were wearing. I just and I shouldn't call things out on people, but
Katie Holmes,
was her dress finished?
You know what? Back to the tweets. Someone said Katie Holmes looks like she has a pre-CGI top and forgot to add the effect in post.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a green frock of some kind.
And it also just looked like it wasn't form fitting. It didn't have any life to it. It
looked like she had just sat down at the beauty parlor in her dress, but then they put a green thing over it to do her hair.
I'm pretty sure as she was leaving the wings, you could hear her screaming at somebody saying, "Well, do it live." So then the next award,
Her and Daniel Brooks gave out Best Female Actor in a Play, or Best Featured Actor in a Play. That F is for feature,
And then went
not
to
female.
Francis June for Yellowface.
Yes.
He was in Madam Secretary. He had a pretty big role in Madam Secretary. He was like the Chinese
Now, while
delegate.
you were watching it, because they have the 5 nominees, and then they called Francis June, and he stands up, and then one of the other people standed up and started to walk down the aisle. Did you see that?
I did not see
And
that.
it cut away, and I was like, did he think his name was
He
called?
probably went to the bathroom.
He was like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
There's somebody else too later on.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, and then there was another weird moment that I caught. I can't wait to get to them.
Okay.
So we're just gonna run through these. He had a great speech. I think he's gay, isn't he?
He seems gay.
Seems it. I don't know if that's okay to say.
I don't know.
Well, so
Then
if we
Julianne
whisper
Ho
it, it's
comes
okay.
out. Is that how you pronounce it? Ho? Julianne Ho? She's the one from Dancing with the Stars. Oh, I'm hitting puberty. Hugh.
Oh
Julianne Hugh.
no, it's not Ho. It's
It's Hough.
isn't it Julian Huffman?
There's no men at the end. It's just
Oh.
Hough.
Julian Huff.
Julianne Huff.
There you go.
And she introduced
We're
the
gonna
point
get there. It'll take us a minute, but we'll get
She
there.
introduced the Point of Vista Social Club, and they came out and sang a song from the show,
It was
which
good.
was fantastic.
Not my style of show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go see that show if you gave me a free ticket, but I can appreciate that they're super talented, and it's just that
That salsa kind of.
yeah. I just there's just certain things. It's like
You know,
you know how
like
like
spice in your food.
how I don't care about like any movie that has to deal with the Pope. I don't care about it.
I didn't know this about you.
Well, we talked about it
Did we?
because you loved Conclave, and I said
Loved
I was
it.
like I don't care. I could care less about the election process of the Pope. It's not my thing. Cuba, all that whole like it's just not my thing. But no, I'm just saying.
you started to sound like Malfoy on the red carpet.
No, it's just
I don't keep up on that.
You know how you don't like in your like Hadestown, you're like not my thing. I don't like the style, I don't like anything.
Well, that's because it's stupid.
But I liked it. It's like some people jazz isn't their thing. It's just not my thing.
So then Adam Lambert and Charlie D'Amelio come out, and they presented Best Featured Actor in a Musical. And that went to Jack Malone from Operation Mincemeat, which I have not seen, but his makeup and eyelashes look lovely. Yeah. Then Cynthia Erivo came out and was hilarious talking about Jonathan Groff.
Hilarious.
And she was introduced him from the balcony, and she's like, these are the only safe seats from Jonathan Groff because he likes to spit and sweat.
Yes. And he said, welcome a man who makes everyone wet because he spits and sweats on them.
Yeah. Oh, I did write that down.
Yeah.
Welcome, man.
Did
who
you
makes
notice that there was a guy in the balcony who was just staring at
the camera?
At the camera.
Yeah,
like
he was down in the
bizarrely.
corner. Yeah.
He was like, we're like, yeah, we get it. You're on camera,
Like
dude.
deer in
Like,
headlight,
calm
he was
down. But those are the cheap seats, so
Yeah,
it was
I will
exciting
say,
for them.
going back to, I wrote this note for Jack Maloney when he was giving his speech, and there's several people in here. I get it. It doesn't bother most people. It annoys the fuck out of me. Because I like the authentic, just rambling off the top of your head moments. I hate it when someone goes up to accept the speech and pulls out a piece of paper and starts reading from it. And I get no emotion from you when you're reading it. And he was trying to do something impassioned. He kept looking down at the paper. And I was like, no, you're killing it for
You know
me.
what I hate is when people pull out their phone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, at least write it down.
What's her face did that.
I
We'll
know.
get to that.
I know. Do you think Audra would have done that?
So then Jonathan Groff comes out and he sings some songs from Just in Time. He's delightful. He stands on the chair and rubs his hand down the chest of Keanu Reeves. A lot of people on Twitter was like, that's inappropriate. They're friends. They've been in a movie together.
Yeah.
They know each other. Leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Fucking Twitter.
If Keanu Reeves isn't upset by it, then
No.
you shouldn't be
He
upset
looked
by
like
it.
he enjoyed it,
Yeah.
so leave him alone.
And also, I remember when there was a guy that was it Hugh Jackman and some award show, and the two ladies that were with him were like all over him, or it was somebody, I forget who it was, but they were like grabbing his ass and all this kind of stuff, and nobody seemed to have a problem with that.
Yeah. So, but they were in the
Including him, so I don't have a problem with it either.
that most recent Matrix movie that came out a few years ago. They're in it together. Fantastic if you haven't seen it. It's pretty good.
I haven't. In fact, I went back and watched all 3 Matrix movies to watch that, and then I didn't watch it. And now I have
Jonathan
to go
Groff's
back
in
and
it.
watch the 3 again.
Yeah, Jonathan Groff's in it. It's really good.
I love him.
Then Carrie Preston and Tom Felton came out, and they presented Best Featured Actress in a Play.
I almost saw this when I was in New York. Because I had a night to go see a show by myself, and I almost went to see Purpose. I went to Carrie Young,
who won last year.
Yes.
She is only the 7th person to win back-to-back Tonys for acting. Would you like to know who they are really quick?
Real quick.
Most recent, 2017 and 2018, was Laurie Metcalf. 2012 to 2013 was Judith Light. 1993 and 1994 was Steven Spinella. It was for both of the Angels in Americas. Sandy Dennis in 63 and 64. Gwen Verdon in 58 and 59. And the first one, Shirley Booth in 49 and 50.
Good old Shirley Booth.
This was also the first time during the show when they played off Cynthia singing the playoff music, which in the beginning, it was her singing. What song was it? It was the Frank Sinatra song. Time has come.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, it was a Frank Sinatra song. I Did It My Way is what she sang.
Okay. I believe you.
Google it.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I know you will.
I mean, I believe. It's not like I don't believe you.
The end is near. Blah, 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 blah. It's,
I face my final curtain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra.
What's weird about it is that's the only line they played.
That's because everybody got off before the next line came on.
Somebody kept going, and I was like, can you...
then Glenn Close comes out, and I think she alluded to the fact that she will get her Oscar for the movie version of the Sunset Boulevard musical. I got that because she won a Tony for it. She's well known for that part, and she kind of hinted at the movie version. And I was like, I think that's how she'll finally get her Oscar.
I don't know. Unless she learns how to do the Cabbage Patch or the splits and wants to wear a black slip. The
movie version will be her version.
Real.
It will not be the Nicole version.
My way. You're right.
I know.
Broken clocks.
Anyway, so Nicole comes out and sings, "Here's my next tweet." On commercial break, somebody said, "I hate it when shitty people are so talented." Speaking about Nicole Scherzinger and her controversy to liking a Russell Brand tweet referencing Donald Trump.
She sang the song really well. I think she plays Norma Desmond crazy, and I don't think Norma Desmond is crazy. I think she's deluded, but I think people make her deluded, but that's
God
for another day.
Caitlin.
Go back and listen to 8 podcasts ago.
Kristen Chenoweth and Rachel Bay Jones come out and then give Best Featured Actress in a Musical. And that went to Natalie Venetia Belcon, who is in Buena Vista Social Club.
And who was in the original cast of Rent? Or she just was in Rent on Broadway. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know which of that was. It's just something that they mentioned. And I was like, oh, good for her. She's been away from Broadway for a very long time and just came back. Kudos. Good for you.
Good for you. Good for you. Kelly O'Hara comes out and introduced Pirates, the Penzance musical, which is a musical version of the opera Pirates of Penzance with David Hyde Pierce. And that is a show that I probably will never see.
Yeah, I would see any other show that I've said I probably wouldn't see if you gave me free tickets. I would go see those shows 10 times before I go see this one.
It just didn't look like my bag.
It doesn't look like my bag.
Then Ben Stiller comes out, presents Best Play. It goes to Purpose, which most of the people who were expected to win awards, they won. This was what was considered upset. Most of the places that do the bettings for it had Oh Mary listed as winning Best Play, and Purpose won. So that was kind of a surprise.
This is the moment. So I don't know if you noticed this was going on in the background when everybody from Purpose got up there, and one of the actresses went to go hold the other actress's face and being like, "Oh my God, we did this," and she went like that, and it was like this, and she pushed her away, and then she got up center stage, like, "No, get out of my way! I need to be center stage." I mean, it was very interesting.
I did not notice that.
It's a worth going to look at because I don't know if she was just like, "Don't touch my face," or if she was just kind of like. Because the lady just really wanted to grab her.
Maybe she just saw this lady come back from the bathroom and knew she didn't wash her hands, and she's like, "Don't touch me."
I need to know.
I need to know what happened.
Maybe she ate peanuts and she had peanut smell on her fingers.
Maybe
she's
she
like,
has peanut. I'm allergic. Yeah.
Allergic.
Then some lady came out and introduced Happy Endings. I don't know who she is. It was Leah Salonga.
Salonga?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Leah Salonga.
Miss Saigon lady.
Yeah, incredible.
She came out and introduced, I know you're a huge fan.
The voice of Jasmine, as Ryan would say.
The singing voice of Jasmine, yes. I just know you're a huge fan.
Maybe Happy Endings. Good show.
And she came out saying maybe Happy Endings, or she didn't, but she introduced the singers from Maybe Happy Endings, which was cute. It was fine.
It's a good show.
And then Jesse Eisenberg comes out and introduces Floyd Collins, and
That was a really good
you were
performance.
surprised he's not gay, but Jeremy Jordan, whom I share a name with, and I would gladly share.
Did you
a
see
bed
the guy
with.
from the guy who played the boyfriend in it? Yeah.
Yes. But I love Jeremy Jordan, and
He's so good in it.
He's
just
such a voice. Such a
so
voice.
good, and the whole cast was good, and that's an example. They did a good that becomes her and Floyd Collins. I think were the best performances on the Tonys that really represented their show.
Then Samuel L. Jackson and LaTanya Richard Jackson, his wife, come out. She was nominated for earlier in the show.
She's the one. The lady went to grab her face, and she was like,
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh. But there was a GIF going around on Twitter of Samuel L. Jackson's face when they announced the other lady winning and not his wife winning. And I believe he mouths, "That's some fucking shit." I'm pretty sure is what he mouths.
That tracks.
That tracks. So they come out and they presented Best Revival of a Play. And that went to Eureka Day, which I have not seen or heard much on.
No, but it looks good.
It was the second time that someone got sung off by Cynthia. The producer got sang off by Cynthia. And then we went into what I think 90% of Twitter was watching the Tony Awards for. It is the 10-year anniversary of Hamilton. So they did like a little mashup of some of the songs, and the original cast came and they performed, and Ariana DeBose came out and she had her long hair and she was whipping it back and forth, and Lin-Manuel was there.
I just don't notice shit. I don't. I mean, people can change.
You saw Jonathan Groff come out. He did his little shoulder jig, and then he left.
I would like to have heard more of his song.
Yeah.
But he comes out on stage and I'm like, he's great. It was great. Jen clapped for like an hour after that performance. Literally, I said to the point where I had to turn around.
In the living room?
Yes. I turned around and said, "Jen, they can't hear you." And she goes, "I know, but you clapped for Harvey Firestein." I was like, I don't think that I did.
Now,
rewind the tape.
Here's another tweet. I mentioned this earlier, but I will say it again. And this mostly because Lin-Manuel Miranda has tried over the last 10 years to win an Oscar by writing music, and like he wrote Moana and Mary Poppins, and he's been trying hard to get an Oscar because it's all he needs to complete his EGOT. And somebody tweeted, "Loved Hamilton. There was one Oscar winner on that stage, and she was the Bullet." So that was hilarious. Then Bryan Cranston and Allison Janney came out. Did you see? You're not on TikTok, but there was a TikTok going around. There was Tab. I can't remember who posted it, but it was somebody. It's a musician. She was on this. They rented like a bus, and they called it the lesbian bus. And Sarah Paulson and her wife were on there. And I think who's the lady who sings "Story"? She just
Brandy Carlisle. I love her.
Tig Navar was on there. And
I want to be on that bus.
Allison Janney was on that bus, and I was like, "Is she a lesbian?"
I love all of those people.
Is Allison Janney so I Googled it, and she's been tied to men before, but she doesn't have any kids, and she's, just kind of living her best life. And I was like, I think Allison Janney might be a lesbian. Good for her. Anyway, look at the video. It's just them singing some lesbian song.
Or she's just a bus driver for lesbians.
And they were just dancing, having a good time on the bus. She's dressed like a lesbian in that. You need to look at the video.
I will.
Anyway, I love her,
all of those people.
And I love all of them. I want to be on that bus. So they give out Best Director. They give out two. One for play, one for musical. And the play went to Sam Pinkleton for Oh, Mary.
Good.
Ugh, another list. Also, nice lab coat, Dexter. I'm sorry, but it looked stupid. He's wearing like a lab coat. Then Best Director for a Musical went to Michael Arden for Maybe Happy Endings. Oh, look, there's another list. He said empathy isn't a weakness, which I thought was nice. And then he said if there are any queer people watching, and then everybody laughed.
And gave the side eye.
He said Happy Pride, which I thought was nice. And then we go into
lead actor.
No, we go into In Memoriam.
Oh, I didn't even write that down because I'm like, Jeremy's not going to like this.
I thought it was fine. I'm fine with the Tonys doing a musical number. It's the Tonys. Know what show you're on.
I thought that they were foreshadowing that they were gonna sing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow" from Annie with what Cynthia Erivo was wearing in the opening number.
Oh, yeah, she did have a nice Annie
very
number.
Annie dress.
Now, the only thing I do want to mention about In Memoriam is Sarah Bareilles sang with Cynthia Erivo. They sang Tomorrow from Annie. And the very last slide was Gavin Creel, who was in Waitress, and she was good friends with him. And she lost it. She turned around and saw the photo and just lost it. And then Cynthia gave her a hug. I thought it was very endearing. But he won a Tony a few years ago for Hello Dolly, the Bette Midler one. Mm-hmm. So very sad.
He used to date Jonathan Groff, I hear.
Oh, did he?
Oh. I mean, I didn't fact check that. It's just somebody told me.
Calm down, influencer.
People are saying.
So then Gene Smart and Sarah Paulson come out to present Best Actor in a Play. Sarah Paulson made a joke, and then Gene Smart, in front of the world, was like, "You stole my joke." I was like, calm down. Address it. You're not Elon and Trump. Address it in the back. Don't play this out.
Also, you're not on your show, Hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something she would do in Hacks.
Right?
We all know you have a writer.
So, Cola Scola won for Oh Mary. You know what I loved about him? Or about them? No list. And he gave the most beautiful, chaotic speech ever.
Yeah, and you know what else? This is also what I saw. Same source that told me that Jonathan Groff dated the guy who passed away. The dress they were wearing is
an homage to Bernadette Peters from 1999.
I thought it was an homage to Bette Midler.
Yep. Bernadette Peters.
Who was an homage to something else.
Yep. It is, and you're
wrong, Jen.
It is on, he's in his speech backstage when he was talking to the press. He said it's an homage to Bernadette Peters, who won a Tony in 1999. It's almost the exact same dress. Then
it was cooler when it was Bette Midler.
It would be cooler. I love them both. But only one of them have graced me with with letting me interview them. So I love you, Bette, but fuck you. How about you pick up the phone?
Aw.
Anyway, I love Bernadette Peters. And I love Bette Midler, too.
That's really weird that you say that because Bellamy's interviewing Bette Midler next week.
That bitch. Then Renee Else Gouldsberg comes out and introduces Dead Outlaw. And this is one of them. There's a couple I mentioned earlier. I don't know what this show is entirely about. This song did not tell me what this show is about, but more importantly, this song did not make me want to go see the show. And if this is the best song in the show,
Dead Outlaw.
I have no interest.
I will point out we've got 8 minutes.
Leah Michelle and Aaron Tevitz come out and they present Best Revival of a Musical, and that went to Sunset Boulevard.
And the reason they're presenting it is because they're coming out with a revival of musical Chess, and I'm gonna go see it.
Also, Andrew Lloyd Webber, not gay.
No.
Andrew Lloyd Webber is not gay?
No. He was married to Sarah Brightman.
Not gay?
I know.
Cecily Strong came out and introduced Operation Mincemeat, the new musical. Again, if that's the best song in the musical, I'm not interested in it, but whatever. Then immediately, Aluli Cravalho, who was the voice of Moana, came out and introduced a scene from Real Women Have Curves, which it was good. It was a good song, but I was confused because it was not nominated for Best Musical or Best Musical Revival. It was only nominated for Best Score. And I have never seen a performance at the Tonys that wasn't tied to one of the best, the top category. So I was confused why they just were like
throwing a bone at Kirby.
Yeah. Ariana DeBose came out and presented Best Actor in a Musical, and that went to Darren Criss, even though it should have gone to Jeremy Jordan because I love him. Can I just say, Darren Criss seems like a nice enough guy. He is a little too theater kid for me. Yeah. And I think, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong, I think he might be on the spectrum somewhere.
Like the LGBTQ plus spectrum?
No, like the autism spectrum. Autism. He just seemed a little too out there for me. But maybe that's just a theater kid thing.
I will say that this is the thing I noticed. From here on out, for the rest of the show, every time they showed the guy from Sunset Boulevard that didn't win, he looked angry because he didn't win. He's like, groundbreakingly walked down the street during the show.
I know you're going to love this tweet. Here's a tweet that came out after Darren Criss won. That's 2 Glee cast members who have a Tony, and none of them are Leah Michelle.
She'll get it.
She'll get it next year, probably
She might.
for Chess.
Unless a Pussycat Doll does a show.
Oprah Winfrey comes out and presents Best Actress in a Musical. This was what everybody's waiting for. The controversy. Oprah addressed the controversy, and people's palms are sweating. Mom's spaghetti, all that jazz.
Before you announce the winner,
Yes.
we already know who the best performance was, but who did they give the Tony to?
Well, we all know the best performance was Megan Hilty, but they gave it to Nicole Schlesinger. But when I put it in my phone, they changed it to Nicole Shampoo, which is how I will always refer to her
Yeah,
now.
and I just want to say this about her speech, okay? All she did in her speech was complain about how hard it is to do a Broadway show. She must have mentioned 3 or 4 different
She cried
times
a lot.
about how much, it's so difficult. Oh, it's so much work. Oh, it's so difficult. Yeah, they're all doing it, and they've all been doing it for years.
Yep.
But the other problem I have with her speech is she clearly, this is her Broadway debut.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of the winners tonight were first-time nominees.
And why all the puns always? So she says at the end of her speech, she says, "Thank you for welcoming me." And then she said, "I've come home at last." Those two things don't match.
No.
That doesn't match. You come home to a place that was your home already. This was your debut. You didn't come home
Yeah.
at last. You just wanted to put a line in there from the show and be cute.
A lot of people on Twitter were
Congratulations.
also complaining because she was like, I lead with love, and love is all that matters. And then she was using a lot of the talking points from the LGBTQ community. And they're like, sorry, honey, you can't use LGBT talking points and support MAGA movement. So move on. So I don't care. It should have gone to Megan Hilty or the other one, who was like
The other one.
fucking rude. Her name escapes me right now. I apologize.
Audra McDonald.
No, not that one. The other one from Death Becomes Her.
Oh, yeah.
And she
That
was holding
poor
up a sign
girl.
that said, "That's so rude." And I was like, God bless it. You need to win. I love you so much.
That poor woman. But people who aren't like mega Broadway super fans are like, what's her name?
Yeah.
Even me, I can't tell you right now.
I even wrote it down and I can't find it in my notes, and I am so sorry, but I am
I
going
want
to
to
see
say
your
it's Tom something, but I know that can't be right.
I'm going to see your show
All right.
when I get up there. And then final one, Lin-Manuel Miranda came out, presented Best Musical. That went to Maybe Happy Endings.
Well deserved. It was
Which I'm
good.
sure is fine. Should have been Death Becomes Her, but whatever. Cynthia then closes out the song, which I thought was really cute. It's a parody of a Dreamgirls.
Yes.
I'm
telling you.
I'm telling you. But it was, she added in winners. And I was like, that you must have been learning that on the fly. So talented.
Yeah.
So talented.
She peeked and looked at the winners.
No, that's not
wanna
how
say,
that goes.
She did a really great job.
She did.
She is super mega talented.
When they first announced her, and I love her, but Ariana DeBose has done it the last 2 years, and I thought she did fantastic. I was like, why didn't they ask her back? But
Yeah.
Cynthia Nixon. She'd probably be good too. Cynthia Erivo did fantastic. I
Yeah.
thought she was charming. I thought she was funny. I didn't realize how funny she was.
Yeah, and I really liked her. And it made me think that maybe my problem with Wicked is Ariana Grande.
Oh, no.
It's just, I think it's, and then they played the trailer from it, and I think her character, so it's not Ariana Grande, it's just the way that she portrays Glinda is a little too mousy for me.
I love the way she does Glinda. I loved it.
But I'm going to go back and watch it now because I feel like, Cynthia Erivo deserves me to go back
She
and give it
deserves
another
it.
chance. She's so talented.
She is also just an Oscar away from an EGOT.
She's so, wow, she deserves. She should get it.
Yeah.
She got to find a way. She got to find some other way other than Wicked to get it. But
Well, who knows? I hear good things about this one. She might get.
Yeah.
She might get the win
She
for this
might.
one.
So so next week we're going to talk about Paul Rubens.
Yes.
Oh wait, do you want to? I'm going to give 5 grapes to Cynthia.
Oh, 5 grapes across the board.
5
I
grapes
enjoyed
to
it.
that.
For
5
her,
grapes for the show.
For the Tonys. For Good Night, Good Luck.
The whole thing.
5 grapes for my new dwelling. For the cable TV I get.
And we're going to watch the Paul Rubens documentary
Yes, it's
next time.
I Am Pee Wee Herman, I think is what it's called.
And then we're going to
where
go 2 weeks with guest hosts.
Yes,
and
I'm going to be
then-
stepping away
so
for
we
a
got
few
lot
weeks
of-
to
lot
get
of changes
settled in
coming
New
up.
York, so it should be fun. But tune in, and if you don't like the guest host, then I'll be back in 2 weeks. But until then, the cork is back in the bottle.